Hi everyone, welcome back on board Adventure of the Seas. As always with the guys we try to don't get bored during the long days at sea and in our ports of call. Some time ago my good friends ballroom dance couple Yevgen and Margarita, you may remember them from their previous beats on this channel, so they became the happy owners of iPhone 13 Pro Max, and as I have my own Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K Pro, we have decided why not challenge ourselves to shoot comparative episode of these two great devices. As you might know, the latest iPhone has 3 inbuilt cameras. This is 12 megapixels wide lens, super wide and tele lens. My luck that I also have 3 removable lenses. This is the Sigma 1835 1.8, which could be either wide or awesome portrait lens. Also I have a Takina 1116 2.8, which is a pretty good wide lens, and Canon 18135, which we will use to check the tele possibilities of our iPhone camera. So my aim is to try maximum iPhone video filming capability. To do that, I will shoot 4K 10-bit ProRes video whenever it's possible, and we are also going to check the notorious cinematic mode and slow motion video shooting as well. Even though this camera can film a raw video, I will use ProRes codec here as well to equal the terms in this competition. So let's meet the guys to mount the iPhone on top of the camera to film some shots around the ship. Now I have mounted our sweet couple on this curved shoulder rig, and we're going to film some boxing workout shots with the Yevgen. It's also worth noting that I have this anti-filter on my Sigma lens, which allows me to have open aperture to have the blurred background. The first thing I noticed as soon as I started to try to color these clips is dynamic range difference. Yes, I'm not a professional color correction specialist, but I know the basic things and I'm aware of how to make video look more flat or the opposite contrast. But it's not that easy to make iPhone footage less contrast, and I feel that the reason of this exactly a lower level of dynamic range. That's why I'm not pretty much able to get more half-tones information in shadows or in highlights. If I try to do so, most likely I will get noise somewhere. Actually, there is nothing surprisingly here, because not that matter how far technology went, the physical sensor size is still very important, and sensors inside smartphones are too tiny, even if we compare it to APS-C sensor size, much less to full frame. Okay, it's clear, and don't get me wrong, I don't wanna say that the contrast image is bad, I'm just trying to indicate that the iPhone's dynamic range is lower than Blackmagic has, and it's obvious. But at the same time, I have to give a point to iPhone for the image stabilization quality. Even though I'm trying to stabilize the camera with the shoulder rig, you can see some shaking in the video from Blackmagic camera, whereas iPhone video is incredibly stable and smooth. The stabilization here is so good that you can literally walk just holding the phone in your hands. Now cinematic mode. Here iPhone allows us to film only 1080 Full HD video, so there is no any option to film 4K in this mode. The same is on the H.265 codec available here. Forget about ProRes when you use cinematic mode. The main idea of this feature is to have blurred background as if you shot with expensive cine lens. But since the iPhone's lens is still incredibly tiny, this effect is achieved through digital algorithms and has quite serious side effects. Like this one, for example. As you can see, the background blur here is quite selective. It is sad. Okay, we will come back to this later. Next, let's have a look at how our devices perform in slow motion mode. As for Blackmagic, I like how does the camera work here. but the quality provided by the iPhone is also quite decent. Good color saturation, in bright daylight, both devices show good results. Another test with counterlight. This is what iPhone offers us here. I gotta admit that I didn't play with its exposure adjustment. Probably it would help me to achieve a bit better result, but I'm sure I wouldn't get the silhouette look like this on Blackmagic, because only having all exposure adjustment options you can get this kind of image. But again, it's not necessarily mean that you might need it, so it's possible you will be fully satisfied with this iPhone image. And it's pretty much it what I wanted to say about our boxing workout shots. Just let's watch what else did we film here and go further. So one more test, this time I want to check cinematic mode, and to do that let's film some classic cinematic dialogue with two characters in the frame, and I'm gonna use cinematic mode on the iPhone, and on the Blackmagic camera I have my Sigma lens with the ND filter on it. I quickly place the guys in front of each other. Again, we can see these artifacts when algorithms aren't pretty much able to understand and properly separate foreground from background. As a result, some small and tiny details, which are supposed to be in focus, turn out to be partly blurred, like Margarita's hair now. Of course, this problem is completely absent on Blackmagic shots, exclusively because the blurred background effect is achieved here due to the physical properties of the lens, and no digital algorithms are involved in this process. Other differences are all the same: a lower dynamic range of iPhone shots and the inability of 4K filming when the cinematic mode is activated. Otherwise, the picture from the iPhone is pretty good. The autofocus works very well. Let me remind you that only a manual focus is available on my Blackmagic camera. Also, there is no any inbuilt video stabilization here. So yes, the Blackmagic Pocket is hardly suitable for quick shooting on the go. As you may have noticed, we have got these shots in the shade. How about to film the same in sunlight? Let's change the spot a bit and move to the helipad. I remind you, we still film in cinematic mode in the iPhone. So this time I'll just point you to these artifacts and I'll leave them without any comments. As a conclusion about cinematic mode, I can say that this is a great groundwork, but it really feels like just the very beginning, and this function is way too raw so far. It cannot compete seriously with hybrid or any other kind of digital cameras that use high aperture lenses. But I'll follow the development of this technology with great interest. Today we're in Costamare, Mexico, and now it's sunset time, so it's nice opportunity to check our Tele lenses of our devices. On my Blackmagic Pocket I have this Canon some kit lens 135mm. I also have the anti-filter on this lens, ND8. Here on iPhone I'm gonna switch to Tele mode. It's like 3x. Let's try to take some shots. So, Tele lenses are used when we need to shoot an object that is far away. It can be wildlife shooting or sports competitions, for example. I will use this abandoned boat on the shore. Let's look at the details. You see everything, guys. Draw your own conclusions. Just out of curiosity, I have zoomed out to see the wide view. Now, one more attempt with cinematic mode. I'm choosing the object to be followed by focus, and it's nice that this object doesn't move, so we don't have any problem. On Blackmagic everything is also fine. Remember, we use only manual focus here. Since the cinematic mode allows us to shoot only Full HD, the detalization on iPhone shots should go down, and it is. I didn't change the resolution on my pocket camera, so it's still fine here. Now let's try the same setup, I mean Tele lenses on both our devices, to test them in low-light environment. We came to the theater where Yevgen and Margarita going to perform on the stage tonight. The iPhone is still in cinematic mode, and since followed object, I mean Yevgen, is moving now, it gives some serious problem for camera to follow him. You can notice the autofocus breathing here. Nah, not that perfect, isn't it? At the same time, we have a complete absence of such problems on Blackmagic, again largely due to the manual focus. But as soon as we switched iPhone from cinematic mode to regular 4K, we don't have this kind of problems anymore. What about color and dynamic range differences between iPhone and Blackmagic? Again, it would be better if you draw your own conclusions. The last lens we have left to test, it is the wide angle. Let me remind you, I have the Takina 11-16 2.8 for my Blackmagic Pocket camera, and I'm going to switch the iPhone's camera to ultra wide mode. Since today is pretty bright shiny day, I also gonna use and build ND filters inside my camera. For this test I will not film Yevgen and Margarita anymore. Let's just walk around the ship trying to get some exterior and interior shots. Cool, so we started on the pool deck. And the first thing what I have to notice is the fact that the iPhone's field of view is wider than the 11mm on my camera. If you recalculate this to a full frame, the Blackmagic is now 17-ish millimeters. At the same time, iPhone 13 features a 120 degrees field of view and its 30mm lens equivalent. And actually, yes, you can literally see this difference in these shots. However, as for me, this is where the advantages of the iPhone end. After all, if you judge the color reproduction, dynamic range and details, then the image with Blackmagic looks much better. Let this remain my personal opinion, you please make your own conclusions. But given the huge difference in the size of sensors of these cameras, it makes no sense to expect anything else. On another hand, I have to admit that the given size of the device and the functionality it has, the iPhone 13 Pro Max is a great tool for content production. Let this tool cost accordingly. We are almost done, this is the last round of our duel. The setup is still the same, it's Takina wide-angle lens on Blackmagic camera and the iPhone's ultra-wide camera. But now we have moved inside the ship to make a low-light test. Here I would like to draw attention to one more detail that I noticed. The iPhone camera always strives to make the picture warmer. I mean, the auto-white balance here always tends to be more yellow. The default camera app doesn't have option to manually adjust the white balance, so you have to put up with what you have. On Blackmagic, of course, there is no such problem. I can always adjust the white balance as I need. And again, the consequences of the small size of the iPhone sensor is noise in low-light frames, such as here, for example. The less light in the scene, the more noticeable noise we have. How critical is it? Let everyone decide for himself. I personally think that for professional shooting, such a noise level is not acceptable. That's all, you have seen everything yourself, so make your own summary. From myself, I can add that the iPhone 13 Pro Max, like any other modern flagship, can be a chic tool for producing content for social media. If you're an active Instagram blogger, for example, and it is important for you to post fresh stories every day quickly and you don't have extra time for this, then yes, a good smartphone is what you need. The technologies used in the same iPhone 13 Pro have taken a good step forward, it's true. It's also worth repeating that the iPhone's video stabilization is incredible. But still, I wouldn't talk about scene quality. So far, this is only a marketing which helps the manufacturer to lure your money, forcing you to update the already good device that he sold you last year. I hope you understand what I'm talking about. Can you film movie with your iPhone? Yes, why not? After all, there are even hundreds of specialized smartphone film festivals in the world. But remember that the movie image is achieved not only by the camera, but also by the lighting, the story, the acting, the dramaturgy and so on. That's why for now, cinematic mode is just a fancy name of a quite crude feature that needs a few more iterations to be able to compete with the real lenses. But it is possible, no doubt about it, it is only a matter of time. So guys, thanks for watching this video, I hope this experiment was interesting for you. That's all for today, see you in the next video, bye bye for now.